Hello there! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma, aka Dilemma's Crossing, and welcome back to Pottsfield, our spooky over-the-garden wall themed island. And today we're gonna be building again. So in our last video, I did the area around Nook's Cranny, which you can see right here, and also this adjoining gas station. See Cobb there lifting weights in front of the pump for some reason. You do you, buddy. I really hope Cobb decides to move out soon. But anyway, so we've done that area, and today we're gonna do the area just above it. So the area directly to the right of resident services, up to where this cliff will extend across to the beach. So this is the area we're gonna be working in today, and we are going to be building both a diner and also hopefully fitting in Able Sisters as well. And then that will finish off this little section of the island. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. Okay, so I started by getting ready to extend the pathing, the sidewalk code that I've been using throughout this portion of the island to prepare this area where I was going to build the diner. So here I am just extending the path along the side of resident services and planting this tree here. It doesn't stay here for very long. I'm not quite sure why I thought a tree there was a good idea, but you know, I did, and I started to put pathing around it and immediately changed my mind. So goodbye, cedar tree. Then I'm just starting to terraform to prepare for the fake building that is going to form the diner. I was basing this diner off of an image that I saw on Pinterest, which unfortunately it didn't have like a social media or any kind of name attached to the image, so I can't give credit to the creator. But the codes that I'm using in this build, which are really cool, and they're the same codes that were used in that build, will be linked in my description. So all of the codes for the diner in case you want to use them. The creator also has like a lot of other codes for other types of fake buildings, so definitely check them out. It was about at this point that I realized there was absolutely no way I was going to fit Able Sisters here as well in this area. I don't know why I thought I could. Fake buildings, anything with terraforming takes way more space than I think it's going to every time. Like, you'd think I would learn, but I don't. So anyway, here's where I decided that I actually, since I wasn't going to fit Able Sisters in this area, like no matter what I did, I wanted to shift the build over a little bit more to give myself some more room between the diner and resident services. So I'm just shifting it over. Again, like, I don't plan these out beforehand other than having a general idea of what I'm going to do, so I had not worked out exactly where this building was going to go before I started building it. So hence why the, you know, going back and forth and making changes throughout the process, but I'm pretty sure this is the final location. So then I just hopped up to add some of this brick code to what is essentially the roof of the diner. Just, I mean, you won't really see this, but just in case, just to make sure you hide the grass there. And I'm trying to work out exactly how to construct this area. There's definitely a bit of back and forth that happens here. The image that I saw was definitely making use of these diner counter tables to kind of form the roof, which I thought was like a really clever idea and looked really cool, so that's definitely what I'm emulating here. And I think here I'm deciding that actually the building can be a little smaller than I originally had it, so I'm shifting everything back so that I can take away sort of the front line of cliffs. Yep, doing that now. And give myself a little more room at the front for like seating and stuff. And then here I'm just also clearing this away to make a bit more of like an entrance using some bookshelves to sort of form a door. And I'm all over the place again, as usual. I don't finish one area before starting the next. I also popped a jukebox up there to try and form more of the roof, but I only had one, so I had to order one for the other side. Here I'm remembering that, you know, it might be a good idea to actually put code on the ground before you place your items. Good job, Emma. And I'm going with this brick code again because I think it's really nice, and it's a break from using that one sidewalk code everywhere. So using this one just sort of around the diner itself and then bordering it with the other sidewalk code. And there's Deirdre walking past with a little paper bag. She's such a cutie. And here go the bookshelves again. Just making a nice little fake doorway area, and then it's simple panel time. And these are the codes I was talking about, mainly simple panel codes, but also a stall code that I used. But yeah, we've got like a doorway, a sign that says open, and then a sign that says diner. They all look really nice. And I'm realizing that I've made this 6 wide when I really only need it to be 4 wide. At least in terms of the panels that I've got. So we're removing 1 square of cliff there. And just adding some code. And then this wasn't in the original image that I saw. I think the original image used trees to kind of hide the edges, but I thought it might be nice to include these decorative pillars, so I've popped them in. But you can see here that the cliff is still quite visible behind them, which I don't really like. So I do go ahead later and add in some more simple panels to just kind of hide that. But right now I'm just filling out more of this brick code. And then some more of the sidewalk code as well. Just make this a whole nice big area to decorate. And this is actually the final build on this side of the island. So after this one, we move over to the left side. And here's the stall code I was talking about. Like, just the perfect code for a diner. Yep, and I think here's when I thought simple panels would be a good idea. And I tried to put them like that, but as we all know, Animal Crossing made it so the simple panels do not go flush with the cliffs, and it did not look good, so I removed those again. But I really think adding these simple panels really helps with the illusion that this is all a building. And here I'm just placing some typical, items that a restaurant or a diner would have on the stalls. I've included some stacked magazines that I'm using as menus, some water, cream and sugar, and a spice rack in a nice red color. And I also thought it would be fun to include a frozen drink machine in front of the door there to hide the fact that the open sign is visible twice. So popped that in. And here I'm also just adding some more bookshelves to hide the cliffs so that they're not really visible anywhere as you walk past. And we're also going to just add some trees to hide the edges just a little bit more, which I think looks quite nice. And then I started to put in the seating. I've never used any of the diner items before, so this was really fun. I think it's quite cute, and I feel like, a small town would totally have a diner. I was kind of thinking about Luke's Diner from Gilmore Girls when I designed this. Like, obviously this is not in any way a Gilmore Girls themed island, but, it's kind of like a suburban area or kind of a small town, this part of the island. It's certainly not like, it does not give off big city vibes. So I thought it would be fun to have a little diner, and I did think about Luke's Diner. I do love Gilmore Girls. My mom used to watch it while I was growing up, and I have watched the whole series multiple times. Sure, it has its flaws, and parts of it have not aged well, but it's still a lot of fun and has great sort of autumnal and academia vibes, so I really enjoy it. I identified with Rory a lot when I was younger because I was also very studious and academically driven. Apologies if you can hear my cat right now. He is using the scratching post right near me. Very considerate of him. But yes, I was always very academically driven, and so I definitely identified with Rory Gilmore for a while. Yes, hello buddy. I'm sorry if you can hear him meowing. But anyway, we're just continuing to finish up the pathing. And Robin is getting in the way a little bit, but she moved, so that's good. You know, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about Robin. She was never, like, particularly a favorite villager of mine, but I just thought, like, she's the bird that best fits, like, is most similar to Beatrice from Over the Garden Wall, so I had to include her, but I actually really like her. I've enjoyed having her quite a bit, so this is now a Robin Stan account. And we're just adding some of the like diner style sandwich sets to these tables. I finally got that other jukebox at long last and decided they actually look better facing backwards. And we're just adding a couple more of the counter tables to fill in the area. And the final edition, I decided to just eliminate sort of all of the like sky that you could see through the welcome sign or like the we're open sign. Just popped a bookshelf back there to kind of hide that. And now we're just extending the cliff along behind this area just to kind of, so that I know what I'm working with. I do the, I guess, other work of finishing off the cliff and filling it in with trees and flowers and weeds, etc. off camera, but this is just to kind of make sure that the build is contained, and then I'm filling in this back area with code as well. And then I moved over here and started adding some fencing just to kind of frame it as well, so that if you're standing and looking sort of down that space between resident services and the diner, there is something there kind of blocking the cliff. It's always, I always try to kind of hide my bare cliff faces with things like fencing. I know I could get like a code. I've seen people use simple panel codes to hide their cliffs, but you know, I pretty much already used all of my slots. Like, I use them very quickly, so I don't have space for another simple panel code for that, so we're not doing that. And here I just thought it would be nice to add another vending machine just right here to fill in this little area, and also a trash can because you always need those close by. And I popped some of the garden benches there to line resident services as well. And I'm just adding finishing touches, leaf piles, you know, the spooky decorations that I've got to have everywhere I go. And we're about finished with this diner area, actually. But I had to include this footage of me sitting down and Lucky immediately getting up, because what a betrayal. But anyway, since I wasn't able to include Able Sisters in this build, I decided to also go ahead and work on filling in this little area, which is between the entrance, like the left side, Lucky's house, and this river that I have waterscaped here. It's across the road from the picnic area from my entrance build, so that little spot. And I decided I was going to turn it into a playground, so that's what I am working on now, just trying to figure out how I want the pathing to go, which, you know, it's always a struggle. I definitely redid it a few times, but here I'm just preparing this area so that I can put one of like the playground jungle gyms, I think that's what it's called, on top of this area at the back. Oh, that was a balloon going past. And there it goes. Looking good. And again, fencing at the back to hide the cliff. And pushing that back into place. And working on the pathing again. I am very all over the place in this build as well. That's pretty much just my general state when building, just all over the place. But you know, I thought it would be really nice to have some trees lining the river, so I'm just adding those in. But yeah, going back to Gilmore Girls, what are your guys' guilty pleasure TV shows, or like shows that you enjoy watching every year, or like your comfort shows? Because I would say that Gilmore Girls is definitely a comfort show for me. Like if I'm having a rough time or whatever, I like to rewatch Gilmore Girls. It helps. It helped a lot. My partner and I were actually long distance for the first year of our relationship, and I watched Gilmore Girls during that time as well. Definitely needed some distraction then. So I'm just adding these little springy ride-ons, because after all, this is a playground. And we're still trying to get this pathing right. But yeah, another one of my comfort shows is definitely Avatar: The Last Airbender, and also the sequel Legend of Korra. And another one that I love is She-Ra and the Princesses of Power on Netflix. I'm a sucker for a good cartoon, especially one with good LGBTQ representation. So absolutely love those. Definitely comfort shows for me as well, and ones that I rewatch often. Here's where we start going in with our typical fillers, bushes, trees, flowers, etc., etc. Also codes on the ground. Just filling in the space. And then I was realizing that I'd actually picked up a sandbox item that I wanted to use, but I hadn't left myself any room for it, so time to reconfigure some things. I moved the slide, moved it over a bit, and then I was able to fit the sandbox in. And there goes the tire toy. And that's pretty much the playground mostly done. We're just adding another garbage can at the back there and some spooky decorations at the front because, I mean, you gotta have those. This is a Halloween area after all. It's Halloween night in this section of the island. But yeah, that's all of it. Okay, we're back. It's finally finished, so let's go and check out what we built today. So over to the right of resident services, we have the finished diner, which I think is looking really cool. Got some seating on the outside. And also another table out the back here, where I've also put a trash can and a vending machine, some benches, some spooky items. We've got a phone box, some scattered papers. So yeah, I really like how the diner turned out. Let's take one more look at it. Oh, there's a balloon going past. Amazing. Just open up the camera. Yeah, I think it looks really cool. And then let's go over and see the playground. And here it is. Just to the left of our entrance, we have the playground that we worked on today. Pretty simple, a little bit overgrown. Just a nice filler for this little area between the houses at the entrance and this river here. So yeah, I might, add a few more finishing touches. I'll probably drop some candy in here, stuff like that. But this is, the essence of it. So that is going to be it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!